How's it going, guys? It is fight week for the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Callum Smith. So I'm going to be doing my breakdown and prediction for that fight in this video. Fight is obviously taking place at super middleweight. I believe it's a unification fight for Callum Smith's belt being on the line, as well as I think Benavidez's vacant belt being on the line that he lost on the scales. Canelo's last fight was up at light heavyweight against Sergey Kovalev. So Canelo has experience being in there with big guys, as Callum Smith is probably the biggest super middleweight of the bunch. So that is one of his advantages in this fight, is that he's an extremely big super middleweight, and there is no rehydration clause in this fight, so that's in Callum Smith's favor. But like I say, Canelo, having fought up at light heavyweight, he's been in there with big guys and big punches as well. So obviously Kovalev was way past his prime, but still a big guy with a good jab, good boxing ability, and good power. Canelo obviously also fought Golovkin twice. I thought Golovkin won both fights, but Golovkin's another guy with huge power. So Canelo's been in there with very big punches, very big guys, as well as the best boxers in the sport. You know, being in there with guys like Floyd Mayweather, Landy Lara, Austin Trout, Miguel Cotto. You know, his resume is extremely deep. So Canelo is extremely experienced. He's probably got the best resume in the sport at the moment. So let's get into more of the fight details. Like I said, Callum Smith, he's a very big super middleweight. In my opinion, Callum Smith likes to be the hunter in there. He likes to be the big man. He likes to walk you down. He likes to be the aggressor in there. I think he's best on the front foot. I don't think Callum Smith likes it too much when he gets put on the back foot and he becomes the hunted. I don't think he's a guy that likes to, get on the back foot, pop the jab, and use a lot of movement. Like guys like Floyd Mayweather, Landy Lara, and Trout, who gave Canelo problems in the past using that lateral movement and, a lot of jabs and straights with a lot of movement. So I don't think Callum Smith likes that too much. We saw that in the John Ryder fight, that when Ryder put him on the back foot and really applied constant pressure to him, pressed him to the ropes, he was able to have a lot of success against Callum Smith, and he roughed Callum Smith up quite a lot in that fight. A lot of people feel like John Ryder won that fight. It was a very close fight. So that there shows you Callum Smith doesn't seem to do too well when somebody applies heavy pressure to him and can get on the inside. Now, he wasn't, completely outmatched or anything like that, but I mean, John Ryder's, he's not one of the top elite guys in the sport. Now, he is an underrated fighter in the sport, but he's not on Canelo's level. So for me, that was a bad sign that Callum Smith struggled when he got that type of pressure put on him. Now, I think John Ryder probably applies more constant pressure than Canelo, due to the fact that Canelo has very slow feet, and Canelo also seems to have a bit of a stamina problem where he can't fight for the full 3 minutes of every round. So he kind of takes parts off of the round where he doesn't put much volume out. He's not really a high volume fighter at all, Canelo, but like I say, when he works, it's very effective, eye-catching shots that he's landing, very hard shots that, have a big effect on his opponent. Canelo's a very sharp, precise, powerful puncher. He's an explosive guy with a very good punch variety, and, he's able to set up a lot of things. He's pretty much a hellacious body puncher, and with Callum Smith having a lot of body, being a guy that's 6'2" or 6'3", I think Canelo's really going to go to his body in this fight and, break Callum Smith down that way. That's the other thing, with Canelo being such a smart, counter puncher that likes to apply pressure, he doesn't waste any shots in there. That's what impresses me a lot about Canelo. It's also similar with Gervonta Davis. They don't waste shots in there, and when they throw the shots, they're throwing them for a purpose, and they do a lot of damage. Now, Canelo Alvarez, he will sometimes use throwaway hooks and stuff to set up his uppercuts. He'll fake a left hook to get you to dip down, and you dip into one of his left or right uppercuts. That's the only time he really wastes a shot in there, is when it's he's throwing away a shot to set up another one of his shots. So he's a very smart, intelligent boxer, very defensively sound. He has quite a tight high guard defense when he's applying that pressure, trying to walk you down. And he can also, we've seen him he can use the shoulder roll, and he has very good head movement as well. But we've seen many fighters have success on him using that horizontal movement and a jab. I mean, you saw that in the second Golovkin fight. Golovkin, he really used the jab on him. Now, Golovkin has a very effective, hard, stiff jab, and it was very effective against Canelo Alvarez. So was Kovalev's jab, but I mean, Kovalev, he didn't seem to be his normal self. I know he's past his prime, but his power didn't seem to be there. But he showed that the jab and movement as well is very effective against Canelo. Now, can Callum Smith do that in this fight? Like I say, I don't think Smith likes to get put on the back foot too much. I don't think he moves as well as the guys that have previously used that movement and jab on Canelo Alvarez. As Smith is used to being the bully in there. He's used to being the hunter. He walks you down, and he likes to get kind of on the inside with you as well. Even though he's 6'2", 6'3", he's a pretty good inside fighter. Now, like I say, John Ryder had a lot of success up on him on the inside, but Callum Smith, he's a very effective fighter at shortening his punches. Even though he's 6'2", 6'3", he's able to really shorten up his shots, land good hooks and uppercuts. We've seen Callum Smith has a very effective left hook. He's got a pretty good straight right hand as well. He's got a decent jab, but I don't think he's an A-class fighter from the outside, and I think he's not really going to be able to keep Canelo off of him for the full 12 rounds. I think Canelo, even though he has very slow feet, will be able to slowly cut down the ring on Callum Smith, and get on the inside with him and land his vicious body shots on Callum Smith's long torso. And I think that's going to take its toll on Callum Smith in this fight. So due to the fact that I think Callum Smith is not going to be able to stay focused and stay disciplined on the outside for a full 12 rounds, I am leaning towards Canelo winning this fight, probably by a late stoppage in the second half of the fight. I don't think Callum Smith can win this fight on points that the fight is in America. You don't see anybody get a decision over Canelo in America other than Floyd, and even one of the judges had that fight a draw when Floyd pitched a shutout on him. So Callum Smith's only real chance in this fight is to win by knockout, which means he's probably going to have to be aggressive, which, I mean, is his normal game, is to be the aggressor in the. But I think that's not the best way to beat Canelo. I think in terms of what gives Canelo the most trouble is definitely guys that have a back foot game and a very good jab and can use volume and fitness and outwork Canelo. As in all Canelo's fights where he's had problems, the guy have been on using a lot of lateral movement and using a jab, and they're putting out a lot more output than Canelo is, and they're continuously outboxing him each round. Guys like Golovkin in both fights, Lara, Floyd Mayweather, those guys. That's the way I think is the best way to beat Canelo. So before this fight was announced, I was hoping Canelo was going to be announced to fight either Caleb Plant or Billy Joe Saunders, as I think stylistically those guys are the biggest problems for Canelo in this division, as well as maybe a guy like Demetrius Andrade or something. But those slick boxers, I think, are the guys that definitely give Canelo the most problems. I think Canelo's best on a guy that likes to be aggressive, because then Canelo can more easily get on the inside where he can land those vicious body shots, hooks and uppercuts, and get off his devastating power. Because Canelo, he struggles to track fighters down. If a guy's got good movement, Canelo's got very slow feet, and he really struggles to track a guy down. So if you're going to make his job easier by coming towards him, then obviously he's gonna have a field day. If you're gonna, like Alfredo Angulo did. Now obviously Callum Smith's not going to do what Alfredo Angulo did, as Angulo has no defense and was also pretty much a shot fighter who was weight trained in that fight. Now Callum Smith, he's going to probably, or in his past fights, he likes to apply intelligent pressure, where he looks to counter your jab, like you saw against George Groves. He was using almost like a pull counter over Groves's jab. Groves has a very good jab. He also uses his jab while walking you down, which is obviously very important in boxing, to use your jab. So, and in this fight, I think his jab's going to be extremely important. He's going to have to use his jab a lot, consistently throughout the fight, because we know jabs, it's one of the things that gives Canelo problems. If the opponent has a very good jab, Canelo often will struggle with that guy. So he's going to have to stick to his jab. He's going to have to be very disciplined for 12 rounds. But like I say, I don't think he has the back foot game to be able to keep Canelo at bay. I don't think he has the fluid movement of the past fighters. So I think Canelo's going to be able to back him onto the ropes. We saw John Ryder was able to put Callum Smith back up on the ropes and then, really get off shots on him. Now, I think if Canelo can do that, Canelo's shots are going to be a lot more damaging and a lot more effective. And I think he can possibly stop Callum Smith. Now, Callum Smith, he has got power, so he's a dangerous guy, and he's a big guy. It's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a very entertaining, technical, action-packed fight. So I'm really looking forward to it. That's how I see the fight playing out. I see Canelo probably winning by a stoppage in the second half of the fight. Breaking Callum Smith down, punch by punch. A lot of emphasis on the body attack in this fight from Canelo, I believe. And that's how I see the fight playing out, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this fight in the comment section below. Do you agree with my prediction? Do you disagree? Or do you think Callum Smith should... What type of approach do you think Callum Smith should take to this fight? Being that Canelo's opponents don't really get a decision over him in America, but also Canelo's opponents that have had the most success over him are guys that tend to be more boxers than guys that are going for the knockout. So it's a tricky approach fighting Canelo, because you've really got to pitch a shutout to try and get a decision over Canelo in America. Obviously, that's probably not the approach Callum Smith's going to take. He's probably going to try and get aggressive with Canelo, as he needs a knockout. And I just don't think that's going to bode well for him, because he's going to create opportunities for Canelo to counter punch him and get off his big shots. Because when Callum Smith is looking to stop you, he's applying pressure and he's being the aggressor. I think that suits Canelo better than if you're on the back foot popping a jab and moving. So I think Canelo's going to win this fight, and I think he's probably going to win it by stoppage. That's how I see the fight playing out, guys. Thanks for listening to the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.